This is Things Police See, First-Hand Accounts, with your host, Steve Gould.
Hey guys, welcome to Cops in the News, where we talk about law enforcement news stories as reported to us by the always reliable, trustworthy, and honest news media. I am Steve Gould, guys. Thank you for being here. The usual podcast is interviews with the men and women of law enforcement, where you get a real fly-in-the-wall type of view of what the cops do for us. Unedited, unadulterated. Is that a word? Unadulterated? Yeah. So completely honest view of what the police do. It's raw. It's funny.
Oh, it's raw.
It's terrifying. It's all those things. Sometimes people tell stories and I don't want to hear them, and they keep going. And I sit through it, and it gives me a little bit of PTSD just hearing their stories. So with me again is my friend and your friend, the great Ben Peters. Ben.
Great. I'm happy to be here. Number 3.
Yeah,
great.
Number 3, man. So, Ben has been coming on, and I've loved having him. I love having someone in the studio with me. It's really fun. We need to get Ben a green screen. Yep. Because right now it's just the part of my basement that we store stuff in. But Ben's got some advice about podcasting. He's got some criticism from his fiance. He's been told, you need to talk more, Ben.
Yeah.
So this episode is this. I mean, like the Ben Peters
this is it. Yeah.
extravaganza.
We got some great stuff tonight.
Here we go.
I'm excited, yeah.
He's had it already, baby.
We're going to talk about a lot of stuff.
He's got some stuff. We have, well, first of all, thank you for being here, and thank you for all the rating and reviewing lately. And if you love the show, Patreon's where to do it. Show that love in the link in the show notes. But if you can't afford it, no big deal. The show will remain free. I encourage you to check out the back catalog. The cops in the news this week. Honestly, Ben and I both work a lot, and oftentimes it's towards the end of the week, and we
we meet up. We try to figure it out.
Yeah, we say we're going to meet up at work, and then we just talk about other things the entire time, and then at the end, we're like, we'll figure it out next meetup. So we do have some great news stories. The first one coming up, Ben's got the skinny on that. It's
Mississippi, just
Mississippi burning, baby.
Things happening.
Because it's the thing about this story is it's like all coming out now, and it's totally hitting me sideways.
It's fresh, yeah.
Yeah, it's coming out with this like insane story of police misconduct.
Almost unbelievable, sort of. It's wild.
So over the top. Like if you could write a script of an incident that you would have to deal with as chief of police, like your worst nightmare, it would be this event that occurred in Mississippi at the sheriff's office. So, Ben, give us a little backdrop on what's going on.
Yeah, so honestly, I'm just going to read this because it's wild. Use your imagination and just listen into this. So, 2 federal, and this is, again, Mississippi, and this is recent. This is from the U.S. Department of Justice, so we tried to find as neutral as we could, because this is, depending
hard to do
where you're hearing this from, it's just crazy. Okay. 2 federal criminal informations were unsealed today, charging 6 former Mississippi law enforcement officers with a total of 16 felonies stemming from the torture and physical abuse of 3 Rankin County residents in 2 separate unrelated incidents. Those 16 felonies include civil rights conspiracy, deprivation of rights under the color of law, discharge of a firearm during a crime of violence, conspiracy to obstruct justice, and obstruction of justice. In federal court this morning, 6 defendants, 5 former members of the Rankin County, Mississippi Sheriff's Office. Okay, and this is the list of people. Chief Investigator Brett McAlpin, 52 years old. Narcotics Investigator Christian Dedman, 28. Lieutenant Jeffrey Middleton, 46. Deputy Hunter Elwin, 31. Deputy Daniel Odbicki, 27, and 1 former member of the Richland, Mississippi Police Department. Narcotics investigator Joshua Hartfield, 31, all pleaded guilty to all charges against them. And we're going to talk about this shitstorm of a shitstorm. So, and just before we even get into this is these are, chief investigator, narcotics investigator, lieutenants. These are like, higher ranking people.
Right.
So the defending, I'm just going to launch right into this. There's no other way to do it.
What did they do? Tell us what they did.
They tortured these two individuals. The defendants admitted that on January 24th, without a warrant or any exigent circumstances, they kicked in the door and entered a home in Braxton, Rankin County, Mississippi, where two black men, MJ and EP, were residing. The defendants handcuffed and arrested the men without probable cause to believe they had committed any crime, called them racial slurs, and warned them to stay out of Rankin County. Okay, we're still on the train tracks. Further, the defendants punched and kicked the men, tased them 17 times, forced them to ingest liquids, and assaulted them with a dildo. During the incident, Deadman fired his gun twice to intimidate the men. At the conclusion, or apex, or ending point of this, Elwin surreptitiously, trying to conceal, removed a bullet from the chamber of his gun, forced the gun into MJ's mouth and pulled the trigger. The unloaded gun clicked but did not fire. Elwin racked the slide, intending to dry fire a second time. When Elwin pulled the trigger, the gun discharged. The bullet lacerated MJ's tongue, broke his jaw, and exited out of his neck. As MJ was bleeding on the floor, the defendants did not provide aid, but instead gathered outside the home to devise a false cover story and took steps to corroborate it, including planting a gun on MJ, destroying surveillance video, spent shell casings, taser cartridges, submitting fraudulent drug evidence to the crime lab, filing false police reports, and charging MJ with crimes he did not commit, making false statements to investigators, pursuing witnesses to stick to the cover story. 3 of the defendants admitted in court that they were members of the Goon Squad, a group of RCSO officers who were known for using excessive force and not reporting it. Additionally, during their court appearances this morning, Deadman, Elwin, and Obdeki each also pleaded guilty to a criminal information charging them with 3 additional federal felony offenses, including deprivation of rights under the color of law and discharging of a firearm in furtherance of a crime of violence. And these charges arise out of another incident in December, of which Deadman beat and tased a white man, firing a gun near his head to coerce a confession, while Elwin and Obdeki failed to intervene. Mississippi, folks. So I'm just going to skip some of the other stuff. So
the thing about this that is so weird to me, Ben, is that all of a sudden it's hitting this happened in when? January?
Yeah.
January, right? And we're like drinking from a fire hose reading about this story, and it's there's really there's no information really on the victims.
It's all over the place.
Their relationship to the cops.
Right.
This sounds awfully personal. You know what I mean? It would be, the media would love you to believe that they just randomly picked a house and were trying to get rid of a couple black guys that lived in town. That doesn't make sense.
No.
It also doesn't make sense that they're just pleading guilty.
Right.
Like any attorney you get, like anything you get, even if it's a misdemeanor we arrest you on, your attorney will tell you, do not plead guilty.
Yeah.
Because everything is gone at that point. The judge, the jury can throw the full penalty at you if they choose. So at least fight it. But are we to believe that somehow these guys who did these horrible, evil things have now completely, their conscience has changed them to like just give in and admit it? Or is there just so much evidence?
I just don't know. This is going to be like a crazy thing to follow and try to figure out, but it's just like, it's wild. There was other reports that they, poured, I think it was olive oil, just some stuff around the house.
Yeah, there's a witness that said, this is where it gets weird. There's
forced them to shower, to wash off
use
evidence.
Dildos on each other.
Hitting with dildos? Like, what the fuck
there was like
on?
There was a witness, I don't know how she was a witness, but she said that the officers were using their tasers on them to see which taser was more powerful.
It doesn't
make sense. It's really, really weird. And And I don't know why the media has been. I mean, if this had happened, you would think you would hear, and we would have been following this all the way.
And that's the thing is, and we just for you guys, right? Kurt, Alex, what's going on? We usually hear things when they come out, right? It's pretty. Everything is pretty above ground, and this sort of for something of this magnitude, this kind of just like. It was very quiet to come out, and now it seems like people are trying to find out what the fuck's going on in Mississippi.
Yeah, trying to put it all together.
Yeah.
Let's go to comments here. Hello from Atlanta. Hello, Alex. Steve, your video quality and lighting are looking great. Thank you. I've been working on it, my man.
That's a great question, Alex.
Ben's looks terrible. Ben doesn't look great anyways. The lighting's not helping him. Kurt Geisner, the great author. Sir, hello. Did the cops bring the dildo, or was it already there? That's a great question. Where did they get said dildo? Kurt saying there must have been a ton of evidence. So, yeah, you would think so.
But this didn't the civil suit from these two individuals didn't come out for a while. So it was under the guise that this
how much do they want? What's the number?
$400 million right now.
Oh
is
my
what the suit
God!
is for.
You would think that would crush a county in Mississippi.
$400 million. My police department would be dead forever. Yeah,
Would there just be a black hole where your PD
It'd be
was?
50 years before.
It's so weird to me because we have this other incident in Mississippi where it was a all black squad, like a street crimes unit, hitting the street, and they beat that guy, a black victim. They beat him like mercilessly. Like it was, and when you watch those videos, it's like. It seems like there's no training. It's almost like even the supervisors there, like, didn't.
You said Wild West, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the Wild West. Like the supervisors there didn't say nothing. They were just like, eh. And that was crazy. And then these guys are being presented as like, I mean, essentially a cop squad of like white supremacists who were like going around Mississippi and trying to get black people to move out of town. I mean,
just known for doing kind of shady, under the table sort of stuff, and
it doesn't sound like it mattered.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like they did something crazy to a white guy too. So I don't know if it matters what race you are to these guys, but we don't. I have not seen in print any reason for why. No motive.
Yeah.
No past relationship with these guys.
But and honestly, like when Steve first sent me this and I read the article, I was like, it was like, this is not true, you know?
Right.
And then, looking through the news stories, like going through the news reports, like the videos, and then seeing an interview with the sheriff who was like, yeah, I had no idea this was going on, and I'm not going to resign, but...
Especially where we work, where like, if you have an understanding of like being a cop in Massachusetts, it's like, all right, did you double lock the cuffs? Did you put the seatbelt on? Okay, did you get him back there? It's a female. Let's get a matron. No one's touching her until a female cop gets here. It's like, we're like hyper vigilant with like procedure and not getting ourselves sued or doing anything wrong.
Everything is like that. We're doing use of force reports and OFs for...
Right.
Shooting a deer who's suffering on the side of the road, and this is like putting an empty, unloaded gun into his mouth.
These guys aren't
and clicking it, and it's like
they're not doing reports for shooting deer.
Mississippi, yeah, wow,
yeah. So I mean, imagine that mindset of like really not. I mean, it sounds like they were acting as if they had no accountability to worry about.
Right, and so the reports do say for the second shot that was fired into that gentleman's mouth and subsequently his neck that it was accidental. All the news reports for the most part just say that he shot him in the neck, right?
So he was trying to, I mean, it's really screwed up, but he was just trying to screw with him.
He took the bullet out for the first one, wanted to, do a mock sort of scare tactic and put it in his mouth and pull the trigger, and you heard the click, right? And that and I guess he wanted to do that again, and I just...
See, it would make more sense to me if this happened and it was like one cop, and there was something in these guys' past, some kind of wrong or something. The cop was he was enraged. All reason had left his mind.
Sure,
and
he flipped.
He flipped and he went in and he did this horrible thing.
6 people?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like
they all pleaded guilty? Just all of them? Just this
right.
is like...
Yeah, we did it. You got us.
Yikes.
I foresee an FBI agent setting a desk up in that sheriff's department for a few years.
I personally, there's no way that sheriff is gonna not. I don't know how he's gonna keep his job.
Didn't you say you saw him interviewed and he was a little bit kind of like nonchalant about it?
So he was, just between us and the wall, right? I mean, I think he knew about it, right? Obviously, but his statement was, I had no idea. This is evil, right? What happens to one cop or 6 cops is not
right.
the whole vision of the department, even though there's a lot of other things that happen with use of force stuff and
right. I heard a great saying once when you're talking about bad cops, and this was actually in a Christian vein, but people talk about bad Christians, be like, well, you say Christianity's so great, but look at all these Christians that did bad things. But this guy's rebuttal was, well, if someone's trying to play Bach and they butcher it, do you blame Bach or do you blame that person? Same thing. These guys are, I guess, trying to do police work. Do you blame police work or do you blame these guys? You blame those guys. It's not every cop everywhere, because that's like the thing we have to deal with, where it's like something bad happens in California and you strap on your stuff for your shift and you have to hear about it where we are. Like, we were there. Like,
right. And listen, so like, I understand the mentality of like, you're with a tactical unit or you're with a task force and everybody has kind of a gung-ho mentality, and that's what they're pushing is, if one person starts to, the wheels are wobbly, you're supposed to say, whoa, and pull them back in. But, and I can see getting amped up, you're serving a warrant, whatever, but 6 people, when, like, where did it go wrong? Maybe when the gun
Right.
came out and it went into his mouth, one of them would be like, dude, fuck,
right, that's over the line.
yeah, you gotta, yeah, man,
Yeah.
take that out.
Like, the dildo thing had me worried, and then the gun thing. I wonder if there was like 7 or 8, and they were like, in the beginning, 2 of them were like, we gotta go.
Yeah.
Damn, man. Well, yeah, this is it's going to be interesting to follow, because there's a lot of, they're kind of pitching the story as they always do, as kind of like, well, of course,
Right.
like this. Well, this is what they do. Like, this is like, yeah, so this happened and blah 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 blah, and kind of pretending like it's not this fantastical, insane occurrence. Like, this is one of the wildest
Easily.
police stories I've seen recently.
My fiance, I was like, there's, take the next craziest use of force, and this is like not even in the same universe. This is like, wild.
It's nuts, completely nuts. Yeah, so I guess we'll just watch for it and see what happens. What are you writing back to somebody?
I'm trying to type in the password here.
Oh, did it lock out on you?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. I'm going to mute our mic so I can tell Ben the password. I had to mute it because I know you guys would try to break into my house to get into my Things Police C software and screw with it. Did it work?
SD.
Hey, you're singing.
All right, we're back.
Did it shut down on you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, you know what?
It's cheap here.
We're not. We're far from pros. All right. So that's kind of like the. We were a little bit nervous to talk about it, because like, where do we go with this? Like, I don't even know how to comment on it. But really, it's confusion. We're just confused.
Yeah, I'm just waiting. They pled guilty, but I'm still just on the edge of my seat, waiting to see where this goes.
Let's see what happens. So next one up is local story. Hopedale PD. Their Facebook got hacked. Like, really, really hilarious hack. And the most hilarious part is like just how nervous the police department is about this hack. So somebody got into their Facebook and locked them out, and then started. One of the patrolmen called the chief and was like, "Hey, have you seen this post?" And it's about like cops brutalizing. Is it a trans person or? I'll just play it.
Not only the post, but it ended up taking the entire page getting removed, and now they're trying to figure out who did this and hold them responsible.
We condemned that message that was
He's
placed
so
on our
nervous.
Facebook page.
Hopedale Police Chief Mark Giovanello
Wait till you
was
see
alarmed
it.
last night when one of his officers showed him this Facebook post.
Yeah. So, damn, the captions, we get rid of them. Today, we ran across a woman, quotation, smoking crack in the woman's bathroom. When he took out his blank, we took it as a direct threat. Our officers on the scene fired 47 shots into the suspect, while Deputy Michael is currently on investigative leave with bonus pay. We've been slandered by the liberal media. We feel justified in our actions, and we will gladly unload on any quotations woman we see fit. We hope the community understands, but we know you back us. Thank you for your support. Dude.
Oh my God.
And imagine how nervous that chief was when like that was still out there and he's got no control.
Just trying to take it down.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Oh boy.
So let's
Their
watch
department
on.
account.
Upon looking at it, we realized at that immediate time that we were hacked.
A hacker
Yeah, I hope so.
posted on the page about a
This isn't us.
situation in which officers fired 47 shots at a trans woman smoking crack in the woman's bathroom.
I love listening
adding
to
they
him
feel
read it.
Justified in their actions and hope the community understands.
The 6,000 people that inhabit this community right away knew that it was a hack, knew that it was a hoax, knew that it wasn't reflective of the true views of our police department.
Few people
The town
didn't, though.
administrator says they worked all day with Facebook to get it removed, and late this afternoon, the entire page was deleted, but not before Hopedale officials received threats from individuals who believed it was real.
Oh, of
Whether it's
course.
threatening phone calls or, people that are expressing concerns are from outside this region. And unfortunately, it's putting our officers in a negative disposition to where I feel like they're being targeted.
It's unclear at this point how the social media account was hacked, but business continued as usual in town. Some who saw it never believed it.
People have to start thinking a little more about what they're reading and what they're posting.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. McQueen. If you thought that was real, you should move out of town because you're an idiot.
Somebody thought it was real though.
Yeah. Can you imagine having to explain to somebody that was not real? Like, yeah, we wouldn't put that on our official. Thank you for the faith in us.
It's just so funny. Like I do some Facebook stuff for my department, and I'm so nitpicky on making sure that it's perfect and not, and I just can't imagine you're the administrator and somebody calls you and says, "Hey, we got some problems on Facebook."
Right. Seems you guys are killing women with lots of rounds. All right. Let's see here. I turned it up, Alex. Thank you for that, buddy. Alex, all the way down in Georgia. He actually manages, he does video media stuff and also has a couple of great shows of his own. The guy's really smart, Alex. I knew him in LA and I knew him in Boston. We did stand up together. And he did, geez, Alex, I wish I could remember. Tell me in the comments. He made a YouTube channel. I think he just analyzed like what works and he's over 100,000 subscribers. Like he's figured out how to juice the algo, as they say. So maybe we should call him. Help us out, brother. Yeah, so I thought that was just kind of a funny, lighthearted story. The next one is, where should we go from here? Should I go, I like this one. This one is also kind of silly. Boston police officer. Okay, number one, this is a new park in Boston.
This one's good.
If you look at that slide we're looking at, so if you're just listening, there's like a multi-tiered contemporary looking playground thingy, like blocks and it looks like it's 20 feet or more high. And there's like a metal pipe slide that opens up at the bottom. It looks like it would probably go too fast if you went on it. And for whatever reason, this cop in uniform,
Community policing. I got it.
like you were saying, like in like detail, he's got like a traffic vest on. He looks like he's on a detail. This Boston cop goes down it and he gets absolutely thrashed. It's one of those ones you watch at the end, and when you realize he's going too fast, you just can't help it. It's like, dude, all right, let's give it a little gander here. He's clearly hurt himself. Like he comes out of the pipe and he's airborne, and as he floats, getting fired out of this pipe, he's floating and his body like just bumps against the rail and gets put back into the It's oh yeah, let me do that. See, I really screwed this up, guys. You're looking at two of me. Who wants that? There we go.
I can't see because there's a thing up here.
All right.
Hold on. Get that out of here. Okay, good.
I mean, what's management gonna do with that? I mean, if he has a legit reason, like, hey, I was playing with some kids and showing them the slide.
I bet he had a CP cat open, for community policing.
I broke my wrist. That's rough. I hope he.
It's not funny, but it's
Yeah, let's just watch him come out of there one more time because it's and
It was fast,
the way he went down.
Why was it so?
She's like, why was it so fast?
Why was it so fast?
Because you're wearing like a polyester suit, brother.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that
Good on him for trying, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That was pretty brutal. Well, a sheriff in Florida has a message for everybody. Stop calling the cops on manatee sex. You ever get that call to your station?
Not yet.
Can you imagine? I guess the problem is manatees are usually like, they call them sea cows. They float down the canals. They're very gentle. But evidently their lovemaking is quite aggressive. I don't know, Alex. Alex says, how's anybody go down the slide face down?
I don't think that was his idea at all.
Yeah, he's an older guy. I mean, if you watch the video, he looks like he's in late 50s. Like, not a good idea. So deputies in Pinellas County have asked citizens to stop calling them about the hordes of flailing manatees in the canals and shorelines of the Gulf Coast communities. The sea cows are not in trouble, the agency explained in social media posts. In fact, the manatees are just doing their thing. So if you're in Florida, leave them alone. And they also said, another article I read, they said that not only should you leave them alone, but incredibly dangerous to approach them when they're making whoopee. So a lot like me.
Those nervous poops.
Right.
You ever get calls for UFOs in your town?
No. Everybody's pretty much in bed.
This is real. People will call. I've gotten called twice.
Yeah, I used to when I was a cop.
And we just heard it on the air the other day.
When I was a cop in the Cape, we used to get, and I saw stuff that was bizarre on Cape Cod because you have the Cape Cod Bay, which looks over all the towns,
right?
Big arc, and at one point there was lights over P Town, like they look like stars, and they were moving, like totally defying physics by how they were moving. And I did see them one night and did think,
yeah, there was a video.
What is that? Yeah, it went on for like
something like that.
Went on for like a year off and on. I also used to listen to Art Bell when I was on midnights for 5 years, and that was like, I would like terrify myself.
Tinfoil hat shit.
Yeah, well, and just like, not just but like also just the alien and like demon stories when you're like driving down a road that's like got dunes on either side. It's like pitch black. There's no, you know what I mean? It's like, it was pretty freaky. Where do we go from here? Let's see. This one's pretty good. I want to go to...
No, save that for later. Toco.
Yeah, Toco.
Saving that Toco.
It's Toco, Ben. We're going to get to Toco the human dog. Believe me. So this one is pretty nuts, and it's a similar theme to last week or 2 weeks ago, where I kind of try to instill in everybody that, being a prostitute is bad. I think our listeners know that, but if you get into sex work, to be politically correct, you may run into someone who's a creep. I don't know if people know that. Yeah, these guys are not good guys. They're creeps. So let's see here. Let me just give you the lowdown. Man is accused of kidnapping a woman from Washington and sexually assaulting her while driving her to his Oregon home, where he locked her inside a homemade cell in his garage. Nice. According to FBI officials, Nagazi Zuberi, 29, is facing an interstate kidnapping charge, according to a criminal complaint filed in federal court. And kidnapping Zuberi met with a woman in Seattle to engage in prostitution shortly after midnight on July 15th, the complaint says. Afterwards, Zuberi lied to the woman, saying he was an undercover police officer and that they needed to take her into custody. So he's telling her, thanks for the handshake there, and let's
where is this?
Let's bring you to jail.
Mississippi.
No, probably. He drove to Oregon, so I don't know. Maybe it was Washington. It doesn't say. Met the woman in Seattle. So Zuberi then threatened the woman with a stun gun, handcuffed her, and put her in the back seat of his car. According to the complaint, he told the woman he was taking her to a substation. When she questioned why did the trip take so long, according to the affidavit, upon seeing the map application that he was using to navigate, obviously, it lists his destination 2 hours and 4 minutes away. The woman knew he was not an officer and that she was being kidnapped, the complaint says. Hours after kidnapping the woman from Seattle, Hours after kidnapping the woman from Seattle, the pair arrived at his Klamath Falls home. What is with these names? This guy's name, the place where they're going.
It's been a bad day for names.
Where Zuberi locked the woman in a makeshift cell in his garage, the complaint says. The cell is made of cinder blocks, the metal door inside in reverse so it could not be opened from the inside. So Zuberi left, telling the woman he had paperwork to fill out, and the woman fell asleep, but soon awoke. She fell asleep? That's incredible. Were you eating drugs? How did you fall asleep? Realizing she would likely die if she did not escape, she beat the door with her hands until they were bloody in order to break free, FBI agent Stephanie Shark said in the release.
It's terrifying.
So they catch up with the guy later, and he's out with his wife and kids, which is bizarre.
Just sociopath.
Yeah, got a real... it always amazes me when like the wife or girlfriend in these things is always like, I had no idea. It was totally normal. That's terrifying. Because that could be your neighbor that you like. You know, who knows?
These people are really good at being just...
Whoever, yeah.
Chameleons, yeah.
Yeah, it's like that guy from last week, the serial killer. Rex Hoomerman or whatever, the architect that killed all those prostitutes. You hear him talking to him, he's like, hi, I just wanted to talk to you, say hello, maybe we could meet and talk, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, that guy's not going to murder me. Wrong. He's going to do terrible things to you. So you can see on the screen here the pictures of the makeshift cells. It just looks like straight up stacks.
I couldn't imagine just... What are you thinking? That's why she fell asleep, because she was just panicking the whole time. I can't even imagine being just...
I mean, plus she had, a lot of room. She's got a chair with a bottle of water on it. There's a fan. You know, she's like probably pretty comfortable to curl up on this little concrete spot.
This is Steve. He says, looks great.
Yeah, this is good here. Good job, buddy. The other picture, doesn't it look like those cinder blocks are just stacked?
Yeah.
Doesn't it look like maybe she should have just pushed that wall over? I don't know. You know what? She's a prostitute. She's not like a Nobel Prize winner, but maybe next time just push the wall over that's loosely put together. Anyways, I thought that was pretty creepy, and that's a guy trying to pretend to be a cop. You know? Bad job.
No words, man. Lack of words.
Let me see here. I think it's time, Ben. It's time for something I like to call Toco.
So uncomfortable.
The human dog.
I've shown a lot of people this too.
Yeah, it's this is terrifying. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is a man, a Japanese man, I believe, who spent $14,000 because since childhood, this guy's one dream as a child that he's not let go of. Like when you're a child, you want to be like I want to be a fire truck, like totally implausible thing. You want to be like an inanimate object. This guy wanted to be a dog. Never let go of that dream.
No, he didn't.
If you keep dreaming that dream, you can attain it. So now he has this crazy girlfriend that obviously goes along with it. So he spent $14,000. He had a like a lassie, like a collie. What do they call it? A standard collie or like lassie?
Border collie?
No, border collies are the black and white ones. A normal collie. It looks like lassie. He had a suit made, and I'm going to show you this video of Toco the human dog. I mean,
so fucked up. It's the hair. It's the hair.
A rough collie, Alex says. Rough collie. This is totally normal, everybody. This is a normal dream to fulfill as a young boy. This kid was not abused. He definitely was not. His dad definitely or uncle did not do stuff to him. Totally fine. He's wagging his tail. Oh my gosh. The way it moves.
It's the hair, Steve, on the back. It's just so realistic.
Pretty soon they're going to show the hair like blowing. The eye, it has like doll eyes that never blink. Yeah. Right here when it's blowing in the wind.
Yeah, look at that shit.
Yep. The wind feels so nice in my gigantic suit. Here he goes. He's on the deck now.
This is a metabolism.
No, thank you. So this guy's all over social media. But
everywhere, right?
I don't know what his message is because you have to like click on something.
Yeah.
But he just talks about how you're dumb and what you do is dumb and look at my body. Yeah. Jeez, I hate him. Yeah, so Toco the dogman, that's
very weird.
Mental illness.
I wonder if it's sweaty in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally sweaty. And
I just can't. Can you imagine you like drop off a package or something at this guy's house?
Toco comes to the door.
Toco comes to the door with no blinking, just
little wave. There's another video if you guys want to go down the Toco hole. He's got 45,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's like,
and maybe jokes on us. Right?
45 times the
the
followers I have. Yeah. But his girlfriend is this like young white lady. White ladies are usually involved in this kind of mental health illness shenanigans. So stop doing that, white ladies. So she takes him on a leash to like dog parks and introduces him to other dogs. And the other dogs are all like,
that'd be, yeah.
They're like, something is wrong. This dog has eaten a human. So I don't know. I really like that story. It was really
I did not like that stuff.
Really creepy, and I'm not sure if it's in Japan. I feel like in Japan it would be illegal because they're like pretty strict. They don't like shenanigans like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty fascistic there. Like they said, like you can like literally, the laws are so strict that first of all it's beautiful. Like the cities are like super clean because you can put your like wallet and your keys on top of your car and go into the convenience store, and they'll be there when you come back.
Not like California.
No, yeah, because in Japan they'll like saw your leg off. Right. So there's something to be said for the board. You know, you got to be on the borderline of liberty and fascism to have a good country. As a mailman, I may have to pull out dog spray if it was. Yeah,
Greg, I don't know if it would even do anything. To be honest.
He's got a built-in defense. He's got like a face screen on.
Yeah. Just it makes me think of what was that movie with Jim Carrey when he was in the Rhino?
Oh yeah, he gives birth to Jim Carrey. Yeah, it's sad. That's what's going on. I have another I don't know, cultural piece coming up that's really disgusting and horrible, but I want to talk about right now the Brazilian police. I kind of like went back and forth on putting this story up, but it's fascinating to me because it says Brazilian police raid leaves at least 45 people dead. So the Brazilian police had a police officer killed, and then they decided to just straight up go to war with the gangs and the drug dealers, and that's what they did. They're like raiding places and killing 45 people at a time. I think this happened over a few different states of Brazil, but Brazil outlawed firearms. I think, or made them even. They're strict now, but they were pretty much eliminated in like 2007, and then in 2017, the president there, just because of the outcry of the people,
he's trying to bring him back.
Brought him back, some kind of ownership back. Like for a long time in South America, you could only own like a 380. That's why Glock initially made a 380. Remember these Glock used to have like a fuller size 380?
Yeah.
That was for Brazil because that's the largest caliber they could own. But magically in 2017, the violence went down. When they banned guns, it went down for a year, and then it the gun violence skyrocketed to the highest in the history of the country. And they brought the guns back, and it dropped. And then there's all these, like, if you go online, there's all these analysts that are like, well, that's not the reason. The reason is because the organized crime has become more sophisticated. And I don't know, it seems to me like if you let the people have, like, protect themselves, like, the gangsters are less likely to kick your door in and, like, take your valuables and your wife.
Yeah.
If they might get shot in the face. So, anyways, I just thought it was fascinating to see how Brazil handles their business. It seems like their justice minister is denouncing these actions as not proportional to the crime that was committed, the crime of killing a police officer. So, sounds like that person has no control over the police. So I'm kind of wondering who, like, the justice minister is like, no, you guys should not be doing that, but I have no authority to stop you. So I don't really know how Brazilian police works or who's going to stop them. But the raids targeted drug gangs in 3 Brazilian states, left 45 people dead. The latest operation in Rio de Janeiro, police said they returned fire in a shootout in the Complexo da Penha area, killing at least 10. Earlier, 16 people died in clashes during a 5-day police raid. God. So this is like military stuff.
This is like campaigns. This is like,
yeah, you're getting like hunkered down and like you're like living in the city during like a shootout. Yeah. Totally insane. They said in the northeastern state of Bahia, officials said 19 suspects have been killed since Friday. 58 people were arrested in Sao Paulo, which began after a special forces police officer was killed on special forces police officer was killed. I don't even know what that is. And they seized 385 kilograms of narcotics as well as guns. I don't know. I mean, they're not saying in any of the media that they're reporting from Brazil that these are like civilians. It sounds like they're killing bad guys.
Yeah.
So I'm good with it. Keep doing it, Brazil. Maybe bring those guys to LA and Chicago and just be like, here's South Chicago. 5-day campaign. Let it rip. Give the people some warning so they can go somewhere else.
Yeah.
What do you think, Ben? You on board?
Yeah. Love to be a fly on the wall on the roll call for that.
Yeah. Everybody got like 15 or 20 50-round magazines because it's going to get crazy. Yeah, it's just a whole different world on policing. So the last thing I have here is
oh boy, yeah,
just an informational for everybody. This woman, she got the Guinness World Record for the loudest belch, which I find disgusting. Like it wait till you watch her. Like, she's all about it. Her life is belching loud. Talks about what she drinks to make it happen. She went on a radio show to get recorded. Like, they had like a decibel meter to like make sure that she was the loudest female belcher. Really gross. And I just feel bad for us as a society that this is something that someone feels like empowered to do. Like, she's super excited about it. Let me play it.
My name
They're
is
like, hell
Kim,
yeah,
or
get it,
better known
girl.
as Kitty Cola on TikTok, and I just broke the world record for women's loudest burp. Well, I've kind of always known that I was able to burp loud.
Always known I'm special.
I was a little girl, even
I'm
growing
working,
up, everyone was so loud. Even my parents were just like, "Can you please shut up?"
Just walking out of her house.
What I do to prepare for a big burp is I just take a deep breath in and try to manipulate that into something monstrous and magical.
Negative.
I realized I was probably one of the loudest women out there because one time I got kicked out of a bar for burping too loud.
They're like, get the fuck out of here. What is this
You
shit?
pig. She's a pig. It's disgusting. A little word of advice. you're never going to meet a husband and have a nice family if you keep burping like a pig. She might not know that's what she wants, but she should start collecting cats now because that's her future.
Oh, she's going to be a millionaire, Steve. She already is.
You're like, I'm shattering plate glass windows now with my belching. It's really, really valuable skill. So I saw that, guys, and I thought, everybody's going to see that. You feel like better for seeing that?
No words, Steve, to be honest.
I think we did all the stories, Ben. We're only at 45 minutes.
This is a good episode, though.
Yeah, I liked it. It was fun. I like that you did a lot of research on the first one, because then I didn't have to do that part.
Yeah, I'm just still so in thought about that.
Yeah. Well, we're going to learn more about it. We're going to see what happens. Guys, we have some people hanging on here viewing. If you have any questions, you can throw them up. But if not, we're going to wrap up Cops in the News for this week. And you think, Ben, 2 weeks from now?
I might be on vacation.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, look at you. Bailing on the show. Guys, this was Cops in the News. Thank you so much for joining us. If you the typical podcast is police interviews, the men and women of law enforcement telling their stories. If you love the show, give it a 5-star review or rating on whatever you're listening to it on. If you really, really love the show, Patreon is the place to support. The link in the show notes. And on regular episodes, you'll get a shout out if you choose the sergeant's level. Ben, do you want to give out your home address or personal phone number or anything?
I can give out your laptop password.
Yeah, you almost did. You're like, oh, wait, SD beep.
Yeah, bpeters268@gmail.com. Send me whatever you want. No, don't do that. Any ideas, feedback, criticism?
Yeah.
Ways we can make this studio better?
Praise.
Yeah,
all those things. Guys, thank you for joining us. We had a really great time coming live to you on Cops in the News, and we will see you next time.
Kirk, Greg, Alex, thanks.
Thank you, guys.